All right, so now I am going to turn it over to Adam and he can go ahead and share his desktop and start his demo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me share my screen here. And that is exactly right. Today I'm gonna talk about campaign attribution. I look good on my screen here. I can see HubSpot at this. Yeah, we're good.
We
All
see
right.
HubSpot Q1 event up in the upper
Perfect.
left-hand corner.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly right. We're going to talk about attribution today. Just a little background. HighRoad Solution is a software company, and our overall vision is to help association professionals become better marketers, right? And so we do that with technology, and we do that with our software product, Spark. So Spark is a integration product. Think of it as an iPaaS solution specifically for marketing platforms. So connecting iMIS to HubSpot. And think of us as integrators, but not just integrators. So we are data activators as well. And so I'm a firm believer you can't really integrate to what you don't know. And so we know HubSpot really well. And so we understand all the nuances with the platform. And so if you were to get HubSpot and need iMIS connected to HubSpot, not only can we integrate to HubSpot, but what we can do is help you maximize the data inside of it. And I think one of the end goals that every marketer should be looking at is campaign attribution, right? And so the goal today, I'm gonna walk you through a couple of steps on how we get to this page here, where we can get attribution based on all the things that we're doing from a marketing perspective. So you do all of that work in terms of building out your emails, maybe landing pages, you're creating ads and your web pages, and you really want to know, okay, all of the activity that's happening and all those things, am I generating revenue for my organization, right? And so with HubSpot being a omni-channel platform that connects to a lot of different things in your digital ecosystem, it's able to track all those things, bring it into the platform, and then you get to see all of the attribution in terms of the money that you've made on your campaign, right? So how do we get here, right? And so iMIS logged me out there, so I'm gonna log in really quick. So how do we get here in terms of the integration piece, right? And so I'm gonna go into this IQA, and I set up some IQAs in this demo account of iMIS, and I set up a all customer. Really, that's all the contacts that are in iMIS, and I set up activities, which is all of the things in the activity table coming over from iMIS, right? And so from there, I set up my two IQAs, and I go into Spark, and now I'm going to connect iMIS with HubSpot, right? And so you have a source system, which is iMIS. And so you'll plug in the REST endpoint there, and then you plug in HubSpot, and you create the connected app in HubSpot and plug in the API key. And now you have the two systems connected, and I can create one of three different syncs, right? And so I have my all contacts, source segments, and one-to-many. My all contacts here is all those contacts in this IQA that I want to bring into HubSpot, okay? Here, I can bring IQAs of IQAs over. So any IQA that you create inside of iMIS, we can bring that over as a list. And then we have one-to-many, which is all of that activity that you want to bring back. So whether it's membership, event registrations, whatever you want to bring back, maybe from that activity table, we can map that over into HubSpot, right? And so from there, what we can do is select iMIS as our source, plug in that IQA, and then we set our destination as HubSpot. And then we can simply just start mapping our fields between the two platforms, right? And from there, we schedule our sync when we want it to run. And now that data will be synced over into HubSpot, and you'll have all of your contacts and all of your activity data sitting inside of HubSpot, right? What this looks like inside of HubSpot, just to show you really quick, is all of the activity records coming over, right? And so in order for us to get that attribution, we have to sync it over into what HubSpot calls a deal. And so that is where all of your member activity will live. And so for each of those activity records, we're syncing over information for each of those things as well. So we can sync over the amount, the effective date, all of those pieces of information specific about that activity that's inside of iMIS, right? And so the beauty of that is this all becomes searchable information within HubSpot as well. When we look at it from a contact perspective, and we'll pull up this person's record here, you can see I have his profile information, which is coming over from that all contact sync. And so that is all of the specific information about who that person is, when they've joined, their member number, city, state, job function, all of those details about who William is, right? In my center section, and what I was saying earlier is that HubSpot tracks a lot of different things. So it has a lot of pieces out there connected from a digital ecosystem standpoint, right? And so from your web pages, so you can put a tracking script on that, your social media, the marketing emails that are coming out of HubSpot, landing pages, form submissions. So all of these pieces are being tracked and being captured inside of HubSpot. And then beyond that, we have all of the things that are happening from a member perspective, all of the activity that's coming over from iMIS, their dues, their subscriptions, event registrations. And so this gives you a big picture view of what William is doing from a membership perspective, but also from a perspective of what they're doing on all of your digital properties, right? And so from there, you can start to create lists and segments based on all this data that we have. I set up some examples to kind of help save some time, but I'll walk you through a couple of the different filters that you can do. So here, I'm just doing a simple search against all the people that are members, right? And so this is coming over from that IQA, and I've simply just selected all the people that have yes as is member. But look at all of the different objects that you have connected into HubSpot that you can search against, right? And so you can have custom objects as well. So there's things like committees that you might want to sync over into a custom object. So there's a lot of different ways that you can start to slice and dice the data inside of HubSpot. What's neat about this too is that you can search against all of the things that were sitting in that center section on William's profile. So all of the marketing emails, page views, things of that nature. And then you can also combine that with the deals, and that is all of that member activity. So you got, again, the best of both worlds in terms of capturing all of those different data points to distill it down into a segment, right? And so I got my member list here. I can create maybe a registration list based upon all of the people that went to the innovation seminar, right? And so now I got the people that have registered for an event, and I can generate a list of all the people that haven't registered for the event, right? So kind of a typical scenario when you're marketing for an event. So now we can maximize our time with HubSpot, and when you're talking about marketing automation, is a automation workflow, right? And so here's a simple automation workflow that will trigger communications based on a time frame, right? And so what we have here is a trigger. And the trigger can be a number of different things. It can be a field changing inside of HubSpot. It can be a list subscription. So if a person gets added into a list, or maybe they submitted a form. So there's a lot of different types of filters that can trigger your workflows to start, right? From there, what I'm doing here is sending an email, then waiting to a certain date, sending email 2, waiting to a certain date, sending email 3, right? Simple workflow, but all of these different actions that you can add kind of make up what marketing automation is, right? So you got branching mechanisms that you can do where you can start 2 different branches based on action or inaction. You can send internal notifications. You can send an email like I'm doing here, but there's also like record cleanup. So you can create new records. You can delete contacts out of the system, add people in and out of lists. There's ads that are inside of HubSpot. You can manage those. And then record upkeep as well in terms of the property management, where you can set property values, copy those, increment certain values. So if you have a lead score based upon somebody opening, let's say, this email, I can increment their lead score, right? So a lot of different actions that you can do within HubSpot to kind of save yourself some time, right? And so from here, when you're looking at from an email perspective, setting up these emails, what I like to show, not necessarily the functionality of the ease of creating the template, but how you can use the data to power your email communication, right? So going beyond just the first name personalization, what I like to show here is the smartness of HubSpot, where you can have dynamic content displayed based on some of the data that you have coming over from iMIS, or based on some of the data that you have on that person on their profile, right? Or all of the activity that they're doing. So what I'm doing here is changing the call to action button based upon whether somebody has registered or not, right? So you saw that smart module here. You can add smart rules and say, if this person is a part of that list, show this piece of content. So I don't have to send out 2 different email communications for people that have registered versus people that haven't. I can send out one and just change the content based upon the information I know about that specific person, right? So it's super powerful in terms of you contextually speaking to folks and leveraging that data that is coming over from those IQAs in iMIS. All right. So from there, I got my data syncing over from iMIS. I got the deals coming through, got the contact records coming in, and then I'm able to build out my segments and my list. I've set up my workflow. I've set up my emails. So those are all set up. Now I deploy out my workflows, right? So how do we get to this point here from the campaign attribution part, right? And so from here, what you're doing is just adding all of the different assets that make up your campaign, right? So I had 3 different emails that were in here. If I had some blog posts that were relative to the campaign, I can add those in. HubSpot has this thing called CTAs, so you can add these call to actions in different areas in your content. So you can add that in your ads, your social posts, all of the different pieces that make up all the different assets that make up your campaign, you add it here, right? And so once you've added those in, HubSpot is smart enough to know when somebody has interacted with any of those campaigns and has created a deal, you get your attribution at that point, right? And so attribution becomes super important there. So now you can see, okay, not just who opened up the email and not just who clicked on a link, or who visited a web page, you can now see, all right, this specific campaign for the annual convention or for this seminar has generated X amount of dollars for my organization, right? And so that's the beauty of activating on the data and having it integrated with iMIS. So we're actually getting all of that member activity that has all of the amounts tied to it, right? So any amount that's coming over from that activity is getting captured, and then that is being applied to that campaign there, right? So that's campaign management or campaign attribution as a whole there. Any questions? I know I kind of jammed through that, but I think I got it underneath time. Yep, I did. I think it was 225. So I think yeah. Any questions?
Do not have any questions currently, Adam. No.
Okay. Good. So yeah, it's really about activating on your data that is generated from iMIS, and think of Spark as that conduit to get that information from iMIS into HubSpot, and then we have a great team here that can help you maximize HubSpot and learn all of the nuances with the platform, but also activate on that data inside of HubSpot.
That's awesome. Seems like a really super powerful tool, and being able to utilize that to show exactly what kind of engagement you've had and how that amounts to actual dollars within the organization is great.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. So we have a couple more minutes left. It's 3:22 Eastern currently, and you were good to go until 3:30. Is there anything else? Last opportunity. If you have anything else to talk about. Anything with HighRoad Solutions. They're also an iMIS solution provider, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Which is nice because you're able to connect all the pieces together. And I know personally with working with you specifically, Adam is like my go-to tech guy with all things HighRoad. So he's very good at explaining things, and definitely has that iMIS knowledge behind him. So great products and great organization to work with as well. So it looks like what dev tools were utilized in building your products? Do you have any ideas to that kind of background?
Yeah, so we're a Microsoft shop. So we specifically work with Microsoft. So the Spark application works off of a new product called Blazor. So that's the background to the web app, and then we use, not to get super technical, but we use C#. We're again a Microsoft shop. Yeah.
Awesome.